I am so excited today because we have Amanda who is selling the suburbs. I almost said the wrong name. Selling the suburbs on Instagram. And I have been following you for a while and I'm like so inspired by all the stuff. And I just want to say, like, give you some props really quick because I love that you're not like realtor. You're like party planner, like cool drink maker, like all of these different things. And it's just like, it all works. And I love it. So you can see your personality shining through with all of the stuff that you do. So I love that. So thank you so
Keeps
much.
us all obsessed.
Thank you.
Watching and tuned in.
I'm always like, how does her brain work? Like, how does she find like your little like cute ice cream truck boxes? Like, how do you even find this stuff? Like, I don't know. Maybe you can talk about that a little bit today. But I love all the stuff that you find and you do. I think it's so important to like think outside of the box, and you're doing exactly that. So thank you for all of that. So thank you for joining us today. We're so excited to have you. So I'm gonna kind of turn it over to you and you can do your intro. And I know you have a slideshow to send us or show us or whatever. So go right ahead.
So I'm Amanda Albrecht. I have been a realtor for 15 years. And I actually work on a mother-daughter team. So prior to getting my real estate license, I would be door knocking and sitting open houses and floor time with my mom. She got licensed in the 90s. And that's how I knew I wanted to become a realtor. And when I got licensed, I decided that what I loved most about real estate was actually the marketing aspect of it. I like to be creative and try to do things that maybe not a lot of people are doing. And so that's how I got started in implementing different marketing strategies in our business. And over time, I started sharing it with other realtors. And that's really how I started to grow my accounts, is by actually just helping other realtors succeed in their business, which I think is really hard to do now because a lot of realtors feel that you are their competition, and it doesn't have to be that way. I always feel like it's better to collaborate with others and share your ideas. And so that is always my goal. I hope that all of you grow your business as I'm growing mine, and we can all work together in the same end goal. But I do have a slideshow. I would love to share with you guys a little mini class here that I do on a much larger scale on my platforms, but I'm going to share with you guys 5 ways that you can get listings in any market. And you can implement these in your marketing. You can take it and make it your own, but these are 5 strategies that I use that work for me. And a lot of the times that I see people or realtors struggling is really just because they have stopped marketing. When you get slow, you stop marketing. And I think it's really, really important to be consistent all year round with your marketing. And if you can do that, then you can succeed in this business. So I'm going to share my screen now. Can everybody see that?
Yep. It's kind of off to the side. So it has like your notes section. There you go.
Is that better?
Yep.
All right, great. So this is just a little mini listing attractions in any market, ways that you guys can get listings. And to give you a little background about me and my business, I am primarily a listing agent. So I do work with buyers, but the buyers that I work with, I'm working with because they are a referral from another realtor out of state, or they are purchasing a home because they're selling a home with me. I'm not actively seeking buyer leads. And so my business is heavily listing oriented. I do between 70 and 80 sales a year. And almost 85% of that is all on the listing side. So, and that's how I function my business, to run more like a business versus at everybody's beck and call as a buyer's agent. So I feel like when I first started, I was a buyer's agent, and I got burned out really, really quick because it's really hard to stay on top of running people around all the time. So my goal was to quickly switch to a listing agent, and I used some of these strategies to start doing that. But when you have listings, you can leverage your listings to get 2, 3, or 4 more very easily. And so the listings will get your phones ringing and give you the freedom and time and ability to do other things in your personal life as well. So the first thing that I think is really important is to brand yourself as a realtor and have all of your marketing materials look very similar. So how Starbucks and McDonald's and Target are recognizable to the vast majority of the consumers, you want to make sure that you are standing out as a brand like that for your community as a realtor. So when you are making all of your marketing, if you're doing boxes or bags or templates or printouts, everything should be using similar photos, similar color schemes, similar fonts, so that you are standing out as a brand, not just as the company that you work with. You want to make sure your face is recognizable, that when you're going on appointments, you've already overcome that obstacle that you're a stranger. You want them to feel like they know you, and you can do that very easily by just making sure you're branding yourself. I go over a little bit in my class about the benefits of a listing agent. Most of you probably already know this, but when you are a listing agent, the client is contractually obligated to work with you. So it's not like they can run into an open house and then use whoever's there on call there. They have a contract with you. So you have a little stability in your business. One of the main things I love doing as a listing agent is open houses. They don't suck anymore because those nosy neighbors are your new potential clients. And so you can use all of this to leverage that business, which you can't really do when you are on the buying side. Most importantly, I believe you have to list to last. If you are a seasoned agent, you may have heard this when you were going through your real estate class. A lot of the veteran agents at the time were always telling you this. And I always thought that's kind of silly to say, but it really does ring true today. In order to list homes, it takes a lot more effort and marketing. But when you are able to list homes, you will absolutely last in this business because you're generating more business from years to come. So one of the first things that you can do when you are looking for new listings is expired listings. And there's a lot of realtors that are going after expired listings, but they're going after the expired listings that just expired 1 week or 2 weeks ago. Those aren't the listings that you want to go after. That's who everybody's going after, and you want to be different. So you want to set yourself apart. So you need to go after listings that expired 1 or 2 years ago. If you look in your MLS and you look at listings that expired 1 or 2 years ago, you'll notice that most of them actually have not relisted yet. And the reason being is because the inventory never bounced back. We never got that rush of inventory to be able to make these people comfortable to list their home again. The strategy when you were taking an expired listing is I like to do a mailer. I do a black envelope, so it looks similar to a wedding invitation. You can also use a colored envelope, and I like to use a black envelope, and then I do a metallic marker, and I write it out. I handwrite the address on it. So it looks very similar to if they were getting like a wedding invitation or like a special invite somewhere. And then I have a pre-done letter that I use. And the key to the letter is you are going to tap into that seller psychology. So first of all, they have realized that they set a goal last year that they did not meet. The market's going to be a little bit different now. And it's oftentimes better to be the second agent in when the seller has high expectations. So some of these sellers thought that they were going to get the moon in the sky when they were selling their home last year. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. And whether they had bad photos or just not enough marketing, or they just were not realistic in what they thought they were going to get, the home didn't sell. So you need to do things differently and let the seller know that you are going to overcome the obstacles that the agent before you did not succeed in doing. And you need to explain to them how you can effectively put a plan in place to do that. And so what you need to do is instead of just sending this blanket letter, you should take a look at that listing and critique it. What do you think they should change so that you can give them that information ahead of time? So that way they can call you and discuss these things with you. And then also you might want to let them know a little bit about what we're looking at as far as market time. Are you in a low inventory area, which is still getting multiple offers, or is your market cooled off a little bit? So it's a great way to start a conversation with them. I always like to put a QR code on any of my marketing so that they can go to my website, specifically the sellers page of my website, and that actually will track them for me. So they'll put their information in and it allows me to come back and speak to them. When they reach out to you after they've received that letter, it's a much easier conversation versus you going up to the door and speaking to somebody that's like, who the heck is this realtor reaching out to me? I haven't listed my home, 2 years ago, and I don't want to talk to anybody right now. So just kind of takes the edge off. Your sphere of influence is a huge source of listings for you. So I want to give the analogy that if you have 100 people in your sphere of influence, and you likely have many more than that by now, about 10 listings are already waiting for you. You don't have to do anything but ask for them. So that's about 10%. So what you should do is you should email your entire database and maybe ask them 2 questions. The first is, are you planning to sell your home in 2023? Or maybe you want to put 2024 on there since we're now nearing the end of the year. And would you like to know how much your home is currently worth in today's peak prices? Anybody who is curious on what their home is currently worth in today's market will then respond to you. And if they don't, they may say, hey, I'm not looking to sell, but hey, I heard my neighbor is, or my friend Sally is. But your sphere of influence is really important, especially right now with low inventory. Those are people that already know you, like you, and trust you, and you need to tap into them and love on them like you never have before. Probably one of my favorite ways to get leads is social media. And if you look at my social media, I don't actually post a ton of real estate on there. I post some realtor marketing. I do post like home prices. I don't post my just listed or just sold. All of that I save for my stories. But what I do post are things that a lot of people can relate to. So a recipe, a drink recipe, an activity to do, a craft or a DIY, or painting a wall or changing out bedding or staging something. Everything relates back to home or lifestyle or family, but it's not necessarily in your face real estate. And I see so many agents doing this wrong. And the reason being is you feel like in order to be a professional in the real estate industry, you have to show everybody, hey, I just listed this or I just sold that. But unfortunately, the consumer only cares about real estate when they are in the process of buying or selling a home. If they're not in the process of buying or selling a home, they truly do not care what you just listed, what you just sold, or what open house you are having. And they will start tuning you out and then no longer seeing your posts. So when you are posting something relevant, they're not really going to see what you're doing. So I really encourage you to think outside of the box here with social media and post things that you have interest in. Maybe you like to go shopping in a certain spot. Maybe you could share a video of that. Maybe every Friday night your family goes to a certain restaurant. You could show a video of that. If you have a favorite activity to do this fall, or if you're out and about going to a pumpkin farm or apple picking, post all of that on there. That's relatable to people. It shows your personality. And it allows people to feel like they know you and they come to you for other reasons. When they are ready to buy or sell a home, that's when they'll reach out. My inbox typically looks like, hey, Amanda, I followed you last year because you posted this really fun drink recipe. And I saw that you're a realtor. I'm looking to buy or sell my home. That's how that conversation typically starts. And that's how I'm getting leads from social media. And I'm closing about 2 to 3 homes a month from socials. And that's without posting those just listed, just sold. And I quit posting just listed, just sold about a year ago. And my following before I stopped posting was about 32,000, and I'm at just shy of 160,000. So 130,000 followers added to my social media in less than a year. And I have over 500,000 followers amongst all of my social platforms. I'm posting the same content on all of the platforms, but it's not real estate. And when I go places, I'll have past clients reach out to me and they'll say, hey, we follow you and we see everything you're doing every single morning. And I just wanted to tell you that we keep following you because you're posting things we can relate to. And I'm not planning on, selling my house anytime soon, but I just wanted to let you know I love seeing you. So you're showing up for those clients that used you previously. Another social media aspect that you guys can do, and this is for Facebook, which Facebook is just as important as Instagram, is get your friends list out and organize them. And you want to add the people like your past clients in your sphere to that close friends list on Facebook. When those people post, you should be commenting on that post, because the chance of them seeing what you post is slim to none because of the algorithm. That's just the way the algorithm works. But they will see if you leave them a comment. 100% they will see that. So if you have a close list of family, friends, or sphere of influence, people you have worked with in the past, or people that you would like to connect with that you think might be moving, and you add them to that close friends list, every time they post something, it's going to let you know, it's going to flag you. You can then go on there and you can leave a nice comment, and they're going to see that, and they'll continue to see that, and you'll start building rapport with them. So this is a really fun way to get attorneys and tap into attorney referrals. And if you're not already doing this, I really encourage you. This is a long game. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes several months, could take several years for you to start building an established attorney base. And I'm going to share with you my exact strategy. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go and make a list of all the attorneys in your area. And I have divorce attorneys here, but I'd like you to think outside as well and think bigger. You want to think doctors, lawyers. You want to think estate attorneys, elder law attorneys. You could even do personal injury attorneys, all different attorneys, and you need to add them to a list. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to call and introduce yourself. Now, I worked at a law firm handling real estate when I first got licensed for multiple years. And so I know for a fact that you will never speak to that attorney. They are never picking up the phone and talking to you, but that's okay. You're building rapport with their secretary. And you're going to let her know that you're a realtor in the area and just introduce yourself. And you're going to end the conversation. And then about a week later, you're going to make yourself some marketing packets. I like to use a clear envelope. And in my clear envelope, I do a fun little locals guide. I do a review sheet. I do a marketing brochure. Now, the marketing brochure is key to have, because this is what, when I go to my listing appointments from a referral from an attorney, this is typically what they have on their counter. So I know these are what they're giving out. I do regular business cards, and then I also do a QR code card, which I put on, the link takes them to the seller's page of my website, which has marketing on there for them. And then I throw in some pens. My pens have my logo, my phone number, all of my info on there. I put them in these clear envelopes, which I purchased straight from Amazon. And I do these in bulk all at once. And then I will go and I will drop them off to the attorney's office, but not just these envelopes. What you need to do is you need to go to either a local bakery, a crumble cookie, something fun that you can get for the entire office to enjoy. And you are going to bring your box of cookies or your box of cupcakes plus your marketing packet. So make sure you have a bunch of the marketing in there, not just one, because they're going to give them out to multiple clients. You're going to take all of this directly to the front receptionist desk at the attorney's office or doctor's office or lawyer's office, wherever you're going. And you're going to introduce yourself in person to that secretary. And you're going to let her know that you're a local realtor. You just wanted to drop some marketing information. If they have any clients that are looking to buy or sell a home, you'd love to be a source of information for them. And you brought them some goodies for their entire office to enjoy. What's going to happen is that secretary is going to take that box of goodies back to their break room, and anybody who asks them where these came from, they're going to say, oh, the realtor dropped it off. And they're going to have all of your info there because you are dropping off all of your info for them. If you do not get a lead from the attorney, I can guarantee you will get a lead from the secretary who talks to everybody and knows quite a few people now from sitting there all of her days and talking to all of the clients. But if this doesn't work the first time around, it's okay. This is a rinse and repeat type thing. So I try to do this every 3 or 4 months to the same attorney. I currently have 5 attorneys that refer to me, 1 financial planner and a banker, and I get consistent business from all of them on a monthly basis. And so this has helped me grow my business so that I don't have that busy and slow time. I'm pretty steady all year because the attorney referrals are all year round. You know, those estates are not seasonal. Those divorces are not seasonal. These are things that are going to them all year round. And people really trust the opinion of their attorney more so than anybody else. They just trust their attorneys. So if you can build a reputation and establish a relationship with a local attorney, I promise you, you will have business for years to come that just never ends. It'll be a steady little stream. And there is enough attorneys out there for all of us to have some attorneys in our pocket to be doing this. Here's just a little photo of my kit that I dropped by. And you can, again, you can make this however you like it, but I find that this brochure is really key to have. Make sure you have all of your marketing info on there and contact info so they can reach out to you. Another wonderful source of listings in this market is for sale by owners. You might have noticed that that has been going up and up and up because people think the market is so wonderful. Why do they need a realtor? And unfortunately, they are pretty much not equipped and unable to value their home by themselves. They try to use Zillow and other various search methods, but what you do is you go on Zillow and you make a list of for sale by owners in your area. It's free to do. You can just eliminate anything that's listed by a realtor, do for sale by owner. It should show you the entire tab of your area that has homes for sale by owner. In my area, I had 52 homes, which I thought was crazy high. I mean, it's almost as much as what we have on the, the MLS, which I thought was just crazy. But what I started to do is market myself to them, but not in a pushy, salesy way, because you have to keep in mind that people that are selling their home by owner don't want to use a realtor. They have it already in their head. They don't want to use a realtor. They don't want to pay for a realtor, and they do not really care for realtors. So either they had a bad experience or it's a money thing, or it might be a little bit of both, but they want to try to do it on their own. So instead of you selling to them, you're going to be a source of value. So how you do that? I got these little mansion boxes. So it's like I'm dropping off a fun little package to them. And right on the front, I have a QR code to my website. Inside of there, I have a prep your home for sale brochure. And I go through room by room exactly how you prep your home to sell. I have a pricing your home brochure because that's another obstacle they have. They have no idea how to price their home. And this doesn't tell them exactly how to do it, but it gives them some information that might make them feel a little overwhelmed when they understand what goes into pricing your home. Nobody wants people trampling through their home with shoes on. So I give them a little stack of booties. You can buy these in bulk on All Things Realtor, or you can buy them in bulk on Amazon. I think Walmart even sells these, but I just buy a large pack and I break them up into smaller packs. And then one of my favorite things to do is these moving box labels. So in my Prep Your Home brochure, I have in there that you should be decluttering and depersonalizing and packing away things you don't need in the next 3 months, which I think a lot of you probably tell your clients as well. These little personal labels just label their boxes so they can keep them neatly organized. They cost, you can get a starter pack that's like half the size, that's like $3 or $5, and then I get these big packs, they're like $8. When you give somebody a gift, they feel like they owe you something, and maybe they won't list their home with you, but they feel like they owe you at least a few minutes for you to talk to them. So what I do is I go and I bring this to the front door and I knock on the door and I tell them, I noticed they were selling their home by owner, and I just wanted to give them some information about selling their home, and that I also would be happy to provide them with the state required disclosures if needed. They usually have no idea that those are even needed at this point. They don't really know what goes into it. And most for sale by owners are pretty much to the book the same. They don't know what's actually needed. They haven't thought that far ahead yet. And then I leave my information so that they can call me, and I let them know to call me if they have any questions while they're selling their home. And if I can be of any resource to them. And usually a few days go by, sometimes a few weeks go by, and I won't hear from them. But typically what happens is they have a bunch of open houses and they're getting all these people through their open houses, but they're not getting any offers because their price is usually not what the market is going to bear. It's usually, quite a significant amount higher, And then they still think they're not going to pay the realtor the commission on top of that. It's just the psychology of the sell your home by owner. They want more money than the market's going to bear, and they don't want to pay a commission. Usually it starts settling in though that that might not be achievable. And so when they call me, they say, hey, Amanda, we've tried a few weeks and we've got a lot of interest, but we haven't got any offers. They usually ask, what do you think is wrong with my listing? And I usually will say, well, maybe you could use professional photos, which is a service that I offer. Maybe the price isn't right. Would you like to set an appointment to sit down so I can speak to you about it? Usually they're receptive to that and they'll want to sit down with you. Usually by the time you have set that appointment to sit down with them, they are overwhelmed with all the information and all of the marketing that you're going to provide when you take that listing, that they will just list the home for you. This year so far, I have listed 5 for sale by owners using this exact method. And if you have more than I do for sale by owners in your marketplace, your chances of taking more is going to be significantly higher. I do think 52 is a lot, but I know some areas they have even more than that. So it just depends on, if you have a lot or if you have a little, but if you start wiggling away at them and just continually and consistently be marketing to the same types of people, eventually it's going to pay off for you. And like all marketing, again, it does take time. It's not something that's going to pay off immediately the next day. These are long games. So anytime you are marketing to a for sale by owner, it's usually going to take maybe a month, but at least a couple weeks for them to try it on their own. And then the last way I wanted to go over with you guys, which I'm currently doing, is a CMA a day challenge for 30 days. And if you want to sign up for this, it's free and I will give you all of the information. I'm going to give it to you here too, but this is a great conversation starter for you and a seller. And I do this multiple times a year and it always yields me at least one listing every single time I do it. So I use a box to hold my CMA. You can use a folder, you can use a bag, you can use an envelope. And what I do is I do a short form CMA, which I'm picking one subdivision. And then I'm picking homes that closed 3 to 5 years ago. And I make a list of 30 of those homes. And the reason I pick 3 to 5 years ago is because those are typically the time frame of people that are getting ready to resell or remove. Another way you can find homes that you want to market to are in your tax record of your MLS. It usually has a high probability if they're getting ready to sell. It usually ranks them for you, or at least my MLS does. And what I do is I create a short form CMA. So when you're doing a short form CMA, the key is to give a crumb of information, just a little information, because if you give them the entire picture, you have now made yourself unnecessary. They have no reason to call you. So when you give them a little information, not enough to actually price their home without seeing it, they're going to still have to call you. So I just do a mini report or a mini marketing report. And you can, I do it for one subdivision. You simply change the address on the front. And I put which properties are for sale and which ones recently sold in that subdivision within the last 6 months. And that's about how far I'm going back when I do my CMAs, because the market is just changing so quick around here. And then I always have a QR code directly to my seller's page of my website, where typically that's where they'll put their information in. I make a list of 30 homes and I do one a day for 30 days, just simply dropping it. It's very easy to do because all you're doing is changing the address on the front. Instead of having to do a full CMA for every single home, you're picking the same subdivision. You're printing this out 30 different times. You're sticking it into your envelope. I always do a review page, a marketing brochure, and the QR code. Make sure you have a QR code. And then I like the box just because it's a cute little package. I think that gets some eyes on it. Drop it off at the front door. I always knock first, see if somebody's home. It's always great to start a face-to-face conversation, but if they're not, chances are they will check out your QR code because they'll be interested in what you just dropped off. And that's how you are going to capture their info, is through that QR code. When I do this, if my schedule is busy for a few days and I know I'm not going to be able to get there to drop it off, sometimes I'll lump it together and I'll drop 5 in one day and then I don't have to do it for 5 days. I try to pre-do the work right before I'm going to start the challenge so that I have it done and ready to go, and then I drop whenever I'm available to drop it. And that is all I have for you guys. Does anybody have any questions? Do you want me to turn the share screen off?
Why don't you leave it on for just a minute, just in case somebody wants you to go back? I love, so we've done the CMA challenge before, like we've run it with our group. We're kind of doing something similar right now too. And one thing I think is super cool is like what you said, and that's the way I did it too, is you pick one neighborhood. So all the comps are the same. If you find a neighborhood where like they're all 2 stories built in 1998 to 2000 or whatever, your comps are going to be the same. So don't reinvent the wheel and feel like you have to recreate a CMA, 20 different times. You can use the same CMA for every single house in the neighborhood. And it's so smart that, it takes a lot of the stress out, because when people are like CMA a day, oh my God, that's going to take me hours. Like, no, it doesn't have to take you hours at all. It's one, just do one for the whole neighborhood.
Yep. And you just print it 30 times or 40 times or however many homes you want to do it.
Yep. It's so smart. Does anybody else have any other questions about anything? There was something you had talked about and I missed it when I've been taking notes. So on your divorce attorney, was it your divorce attorney? Maybe it wasn't, I don't know. Anyways, maybe it was a FSBO. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Whatever. I'll figure it out. But, does anybody else have any other questions about anything? Emily, are you raising your hand?
I do.
Okay, let me mute.
Okay. Hi, Amanda. Yeah, I had to turn the speaker off too. So I have a few questions. One, that brochure that you're talking about that you put in that divorce attorney package for marketing flyer, the little one, what do you have in there? Because you're talking about like that you're marketing, like it's got a lot of marketing info. Like what is that piece?
So first of all, it's a big photo of myself and my mom. And you always want to have its facial recognition. That's why your signs are so important. That's why any type of marketing should always have your face on it. Make sure that people can recognize your face. Then I just have our company name and our names underneath that. And then I have a little like mini bio of us. So it's like your mother-daughter team and how much years experience we have. And then I have basic marketing stuff. So again, this is just a short little snip of information about us. So I have like our professional photography that we use, our social media marketing, and then I have our online advertising. So how many websites we put you on. And I actually use List Hub. Many of you might use that too, but that's my syndication from the MLS. And it has a icon that you can use where it shows like your listing, and then it shows arrows going out to all these websites. There's over like 900. So I put that icon on this brochure so they can see where their home is being marketed. And then on the back of it, I just have cell phone numbers so they can text or call us, our office address, our website, and our email address. So it's very short and sweet, but it's all the information they would need to ever get in contact with us, and always takes them back to our website so that they can see more information about us.
Okay, thank you. And then my other question, I need to go back. Those little house boxes, where did you get those? Those are
My
cute.
CMA box?
Well, your CMA box and those little like FSBO house boxes.
Oh, okay. So this is
both of them.
This is called the mansion box. And these are from Amazon and they're back in stock. So they were sold out for a little while. They're back in stock. The owner of these boxes, her name is Carentology, or that's what the brand is. It's called Carentology. These are baker boxes. They're for like cupcakes and like bakeries to use. I saw them and I reached out to her and I'm like, would they work for like a realtor? And she's like, absolutely. So I ordered a bunch and they're perfect. She has smaller ones too that I bring to my listing appointments that are adorable. They have little ribbons on them. They're super cute. My CMA box is a template I created and it's printed right on here. You could do it cheaper if you wanted, if you just wanted to print out the front of the box on sticky paper and put it on a folder or an envelope. I just think the box is really cute, and I use a 1-inch box versus a lot of people are using 2 or 3. I think they're too hard to fill. It's really just to contain marketing information. That's all it's for. I don't use it for any other purpose.
Where do you get those boxes from?
They're from Uprint. Where?
Oh, Uprint. I've used them before. And then my last question about that CMA, what are you, so like you've got the comps for the neighborhood. Is everything like, are you giving an inkling of like what your home could be worth, or is it just like, here's the comps that have sold and then here's your contact information?
So you don't want to give any type of inkling of actual price because you want them to call you, but these are all in the same subdivision. They know their subdivision. Everybody knows and is very aware of homes in their subdivision. Most of these subdivisions only have 4 or 5 models they can choose from. So when you're listing the address of what's for sale, you always list the price of what's currently for sale. That's going to give them a really, really good idea. Those prices are usually within 10 to 20,000 of each other. And then the sold comps are also usually within 10 to 20,000 of each other, unless there's a home that is just really, really nice or really updated or just larger. That price would be a little off, but all I'm doing is simply doing what has sold and what is currently for sale. And I'm putting that on one sheet of paper. If you don't want to do something like this template, you can literally print out the one page from the MLS that says, you can search your MLS by subdivision and do homes that closed the last 6 months. You could print that page out for the subdivision. And then you could also print out homes that are currently for sale in that subdivision. When you print out from your MLS, it should have all of your information at the bottom of that as well. So it should brand it for you.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I posted in the group chat that all the links to your Amazon stuff are in your bio. You have an Amazon storefront. So if anybody wants any of those certain things, I've ordered plenty from it. So you're welcome for that little mini Amazon check you got. So there's a lot of stuff on there. She's got all of the folders, the boxes, like all of the things are there. So if you want to be able to order any of those things, go right to her bio on Instagram and you can grab those things.
Thank you.
Somebody just asked if the CMA stuff is available. I think you sell your CMA program, correct?
So the box, yes, I sell that. This little template is currently free right now. If you go on my Instagram stories, I just posted the link. You can grab this. It's called the mini property report. It's totally free. All you do is you put your information in and it'll email it back to you. You open it up. It'll be a Canva template and you just edit it, put your info in, and you change. All I do is change the main address here, and then I make sure my comps are whatever the comps are for the subdivision.
Yeah, it's super cute.
Yes, my box template, I sell the box template. It includes the front, the little flap. It includes a review page. It also includes an equity review for the end of the year that I give my clients, and the little QR code card that I use.
Awesome. I love it. Anybody else have any other questions for Amanda? I mean, there's like, you have so many things that are just so cute for all of your marketing. Like I was talking about this earlier, your little like ice cream box, like ice cream truck box, like how stinking cute were those? They're adorable.
Thank you.
You have such cute stuff.
Those are actually pop-by gifts. So I'm a huge advocate of pop-by gifts because, you're loving on your sphere, but I bring all that to my open houses too. And I give them to people instead of just a business card. I love just giving them a little small pop-by gift instead. And I always have my info on there and it's just always well received. So it doesn't cost a lot to make somebody feel special, and it doesn't have to be anything extravagant, but it really elevates you and it makes you stand out versus what everybody else is doing. And that's really what's important.
Yeah, I actually did. So I did a modern agent blueprint a couple weeks ago about like a 5-star client experience. And I used all the things that I had gotten from you, like the listing bag and the buyer bag. And I broke it down by price. And it was like $5 for the buyer bag total.
Yep.
And the listing bag was, I think, $10 because I added, because like the little concentrate thing is a little more expensive.
Yes.
And I actually put glass bottles too.
Yep.
So I put like glass sprayer bottles. So those were, I think, $4 on their own. So, you can play with it a little bit and you can, add things and change things a little bit, but it was awesome. I mean, the overall, the price of the whole thing is like, in the scheme of things, is so minute. It's like, if you're gonna get a listing and you're bringing this bag over and it costs you $10, like, why would you not?
And for me, I'm always willing to pay a little bit more to really stand out to a seller, because the payoff is so, I mean, that's, you can't, once you get that listing, the chances of you getting the neighbors or another home in that subdivision is so high, just from the marketing you're going to do for that one listing, it's going to pay off. So I always say, I always spend a little bit more to harvest those seller leads than I do for the buyer leads. So that's why I always like to make everything a little bit more special. And I'm always very happy on the seller side of things.
Yeah, I think we all want to be on the seller side. It's so much easier to deal with than, miles and miles on your car, like
Yep.
going to show everybody and not getting your offers accepted and all that. Everyone wants to be on the buy side. So I
Yes.
think it's really smart. Anybody else have any questions for her? I know that there's so many things that you gave us. Oh, the attorney packet. I do have a question.
Sure.
Do you ever get people who are like just rude or like not willing to work with you? Or do you just keep chugging along and keep showing up and keep doing the thing? And how often are you going to those attorneys' offices if you don't get anything back from them within the first visit or two?
Really discontinue my visits after 1 year. So if, after a year I've gotten nothing, I'm not really getting a response, I feel like it's not really being appreciated, I just discontinue and I move on to the next attorney that I want to cultivate. But I feel like overall the response is really, really good, because you're going there with like a treat, like you're bringing them something. So like, who's going to be like, you again with these cookies? Like, you're giving them a little incentive to be nice to you. I mean, I guess you're paying them off a little bit, right? But no, that I don't think that I've had any that are downright rude. I've had several where I just didn't get any business from, so I stopped. But the vast majority of people are very, very receptive to it. Like I said, you're not ever really going to speak to the attorney. I speak to them like once they've referred somebody to me, but until that point, you're probably not going to speak to them. They usually, I feel like maybe they get tired of you keep showing up. So they're like, all right, I'm just going to throw her one and let's see what happens. And, that's kind of how you slowly build that relationship. And something else you can do is you can see if they do real estate. If they do real estate, you could throw them a seller here and there, and that would also give them an incentive to refer back to you. They feel like they're owing you something then at that point.
Right. How often are you going to these attorneys' offices or lawyers or financial planners? How, like, quarterly or every few?
Yes. Yeah, it's quarterly. So I pre-plan my schedule for the month ahead, but I always do it quarterly. So every 3 or 4 months, I would say, I'm heading out, and it's the same with like my pop buys. I spend a day like dropping off marketing when I have somewhere that I'm dropping things off. I just pick a day and I pick my route ahead of time, and then I drop it off one day, and then I'm done. I'm done for 3 or 4 months.
I love it. I just told, so Kelly's on here with the fun wallpaper. Kelly and I used to work at a dental office for many, many years. And we always loved when people brought us treats. Like,
Yeah.
I can't say, it wasn't ever like, it was never like a realtor or anybody like that. It was usually like other offices, or patients. And we always remembered those patients that brought us stuff. And so one of the girls on our team was going to the dentist. She chipped a tooth, and I was like, bring them donuts and bring them your card and bring them some pens, because one, we all love pens. And two, like, you're bringing donuts. They are going to love you. So like, you never really think about that. Like, you're going to a dentist, like, bring candy and treats, but they love it. Trust me.
I do it for like my kids' schools too. Like, I bring it into the front office, because your kids are usually building relationships with people, and then the parents start to get to know your kid, or the secretaries start to get to know them. So it pays off where your kids kind of getting brownie points, and then they're going to recognize you and remember you too. So that's awesome, because there's so many people that are in and out of that office all the time.
I sponsored I once sponsored a Keurig coffee pot for the staff lounge.
That's a great idea.
2 years ago. And then I just have an Amazon thing delivered once a month to my house, and like just refill it, and then I drop it off to like whoever, is at the front, and they're like, that's what we love this. I've actually gotten a couple of buyers from it, but,
That's amazing.
yeah. Yeah, but I also, I do sponsorship too, and like get my name on the back with, that's a little higher price point to do that.
Sure.
The bag of t-shirts, but even just like you can buy a Keurig coffee machine, for pretty inexpensive, and then just
Sure.
refill for $30 a month, like it's,
Yeah.
so it's, and then you put like a sign next to it with your logo and do all your things, and yeah, so it's
That's
not a bad
awesome.
idea. Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah. So got another good idea for anybody that have kids in school. So
Yep.
yeah.
What kind of follow-up do you do with these attorneys? I know you said you do like quarterly. Do you just quarterly pop in and like bring them donuts and stuff like that?
Yep, I just rinse and repeat. So every couple of months I drop in with another, thing of goodies. I actually really like crumble cookies. We have one near us and I always think they're so fun. Like they always have, their presentation is really, really nice. So I usually do like the party box. I think it's $30 for a big party box of 12 cookies, which is usually enough for their entire staff. And then I just bring more marketing. I just bring another marketing envelope just because, and I always say, oh, just in case you ran out of, hoping they're giving it out. Just
Okay,
wanted
so
to drop off
you
some more.
got it. You do bring another marketing package. Okay.
Yeah.
I love
Just in
it.
case they didn't see the first one or second.
In case you
Yeah.
misplaced that envelope that I left here last time.
In case people
love it.
stole all the good information out of it.
Right.
So funny. I love
I have a
it.
good question about your like for sale by owner Popeyes.
Sure.
So I've reached out to a couple of them and probably just didn't have the right approach, but I've had very negative responses. Obviously, they probably had a bad experience in the past, just like very snippy. I don't want to work with a realtor, blah, blah, blah. So do you have any like ways or like a good approach to kind of not just be so like sales pitchy, like as you mentioned, like I know you have like you bring the little goodies and things like that, but any like dialogue starters for when you do initially go to the front door, just to kind of ease that conversation in so it doesn't come off so like sales pitch?
Start with when I bring it to the door and I knock, I always say, I know you're trying to sell your home by owner, and I think that's great. And I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just wanted to give you a little box of value. And I just want to be a source of information in case you have any questions. And then I go into, we have, these disclosures that are required by, the Illinois state. If you need a copy of those, feel free to reach out. My information is all enclosed. I'd be happy to send you those. That's typically, those disclosures are typically the reason why they're reaching out to me. They don't have them. And it's actually hard to download all that stuff online. It's not like a free resource for people. So they typically need an attorney or a realtor to get that. They usually have no idea about the sales contract either. Like they don't know where to get it. I can kind of usually refer them to a local attorney. In Illinois, we're an attorney state, so we have to use attorneys on the sales side. If you are not an attorney state, I think you need to use a title company. So you could get them in touch with a title company. When you're giving them to, giving the information to either a title company or an attorney, make sure it's one that you work with so that they can put in a good plug for you. And then usually it all kind of full circles. They get overwhelmed when they call you and they aren't sure about the disclosures, or they're not sure why their house isn't selling. You're not ever selling to them. You're encouraging and you're just providing them value. The value is the free information that you're giving. I think that's where a lot of agents go wrong, is they don't want to give too much information because they're worried they're, not going to get the sale, or that they're just using them. They are just using you. That's what they're doing. But the key is that they're going to be overwhelmed. They truly are not equipped to sell their home by themselves. You're going to be able to truly get them more money than they can get by themselves. And if you show them and build a relationship over time, they will eventually feel comfortable enough to reach out to you to schedule that appointment and have you come back out. But you can't start off trying to sell them anything, because unfortunately, they probably hate realtors. That's typically what I'm finding, is they have that mentality that they don't want to talk to you. They don't want to look at you. They don't want to hear anything you have to say, but you're giving them free information and there is no obligation back. They're going to take it from you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah, they definitely have their like guard up, but they also, I'm sure that they're bombarded with calls, because the second that FSBO hits the market, all the
Constantly.
realtors are making their daily calls to them. So I think showing up is a smarter idea too, although I can see where people might be a little, caught off guard maybe. But I think if you're just saying, okay, want to give you this information, or like if it's been sitting on the market for a while, like maybe this will be some, helpful for you, something along those lines.
I would also I would put yourself in a position mindfully to be rejected right away anyway. And just, as a realtor, I've been doing this for many years too. And it's like, if you take some things personally, yes, we get bummed out, but like, really, we just got to literally just set ourselves up for like, they're just not going to want to talk to us. So let's be as nice as we can and see, but you have to keep coming back. You got to take your lumps and then keep coming back a little bit. I mean, you can't let people be flat out rude to you and mean, but they're gonna reject you, because I would do the same thing. If I didn't really, if I wasn't a realtor, I'd be like, I just don't want to talk to you, but if you come from a place of, you're giving value and a little bit at a time, especially, and just being nice, they're going to like Amanda was saying, they're going to feel overwhelmed and they're going to be like, God, that one person was actually nice to me, didn't feel forceful. I really should call them because they were trying to help. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Somebody in the chat, Stephanie asked, how would you approach probates?
Probate attorneys are the same. It would be the same situation as any other attorney. I mean, it's a great attorney to put on your list. I think that for me, the most leads I get is actually from an elder law attorney, which is they work similar to probate, but they have elderly people that are either going into assisted or their family is having to take over their finances in their homes. And that's probably where my largest listing source comes from, is those elder law attorneys, because those people are unfortunately needing to sell their home for some reason. Sometimes they're hiding assets so they can get state aid. And there's a lot of reasons why, but the elder law is very profitable for me, which would be probably where I would focus on if you're starting, because they usually have enough clients that they can give out to several realtors and not just one. All attorneys would be the same method.
Okay, cool. Emily asks, what do you include in your listing package?
So I have a listing presentation booklet that I use, and I bring my CMA and a box and a gift. I have a whole course for that. It's like step by step from the second I go to the door to when I leave, scripts and everything that I use. It's called Mastering the Art of Listing Presentations. And I literally tell you exactly what I say from start to finish. But yeah, I do a box, or if I've already given a box because it's a listing appointment from like a CMA a day challenge or something like that, then I just bring a folder, a branded folder that I use. And then I bring a CMA, a gift, and then my listing presentation, which I have in a booklet.
Awesome. All right. Does anybody else have any other questions? We're right almost at 12 here. Anybody have any other questions or anything for Amanda? Again, if you want any of the stuff, like the boxes, like there's smaller boxes, there's bigger boxes, all those different things. She has all of that linked in her bio on Instagram. You can go right to her Amazon storefront and you can buy all that stuff directly from that. Makes life a lot easier.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll wrap things up. Thank you so much, Amanda. I'm so excited to have you on here. Thank you so much. This has been amazing as usual, exactly as I expected. So next week we have Alyssa Stalker on, and she does a lot of, she's right up there with you, in my opinion. Like you guys are like neck and neck up here. I'm just so excited by the guests that we've had recently. So Alyssa's gonna be on talking about marketing to your database and to your doing email lists. So be on next week for that. And thank you so much, Amanda. I'm so honored that you joined us today. Thank you for all this. I have 2 pages of notes here of stuff. So I'm excited.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, Amanda.
Bye.